I myself tell myself those lies. We all do. If we had to wait for inspiration, for motivation before we start acting, before we start doing,
it's only worth it if you work for it.
when it comes to changing our lifestyle, becoming healthier, fitter, mentally healthier, working on all these things, there's 3 lies I come across quite often. And they are, number 1, you have to be inspired to practice. Number 2, you should always be motivated to practice. Number 3, experts always motivated to practice. That's why I'm failing. I'm not an expert. Those 3 lies we tell ourselves quite often. Those 3 lies isn't a form of excuse, isn't a form of escape. The truth is, I myself tell myself those lies. We all do. If we had to wait for inspiration, for motivation before we start acting, before we start doing, guess what? You are going to fail. Motivation is a fecal master. To wait to be motivated to do something. You know, it's a perfect song. I've got the perfect shoes on. I've got the perfect underwear, the lucky socks on. I just feel so motivated to go after it today. Crash and burn. Those days happen maybe once every 1,000 days. But you know what? Action leads to motivation. And what do I mean with that? We need to think about, rather than waiting for motivation, start with action. Once we start doing something, it actually leads to motivation. Even the smallest action. If your goal is to start exercising, going to the gym, going for a run, you know what? Do it for 5 minutes. I'm going to go for a run tomorrow. Go for 5 minutes. I want to read every day. You know what? My goal to you today, read 2 pages. Because you know what? Once you start doing something, those 2 pages become 5 pages. Those 5 pages become 10 pages. You know what? I went for a 3-minute run. Well, while I'm doing 3 minutes now, let's just do another 6 minutes. 15 minutes later, you come back home and you did 5 times more than you were planning to do. That's the thing. The moment we take action, motivation follows. Hear that again. Motivation follows action. Action leads to motivation. Action doesn't follow motivation, and motivation doesn't lead to action. Choose action. Even the smallest little action you take can build into more, which leads you to become motivated. The system I like to use to keep myself inspired, to keep acting, to keep going, to keep doing the action that leads to the motivation is the 3 S's. And they are structure, systems, and scheduling. Let's dive deeper. Structure. Think about the environment and what do you need to do to make sure your environment, your structure, makes it as easy as possible for you to take the action. That might be, tonight, put out my shoes, my running clothes. You know what? That might be, make sure I always have a form of cooked healthy food in the fridge to prevent me from snacking on chocolates and chips. That might be having my book out so I can see it to remind myself to read those 3 to 5 pages. Think about the environment, how you can change it, the structure of it, to just make taking that smallest action that much easier. Systems. Think of these little routines. What are things I can do to make it easier for me to do that thing? After my run, I have the habit of putting my clothes in the washing machine so I know it's always there. On a Sunday, I prep to make sure I've got cooked protein in the fridge. Another one here is tracking these things. 5-minute run 3 times this week, tick those boxes. It's a system. Just think about the system as the backup, the making sure things don't go wrong, and the environment makes it easier for me to do those things. And the third one is scheduling. If it's not on your schedule, you're not going to do it. If it's reading, if it's studying, if it's writing, if it's recording, if it's exercising, cooking food, you know what? Put it on your schedule. Because if it's on your schedule, you will see it. A lot of times we say we're going to do things, we never get to it because life gets busy in other areas. Your health, your mental health is a priority. So schedule it just like you schedule all the other things. You schedule what matters. You matter. Your health matters and your mental health does too. You can't buy these things just off the market and you can't just swap out for new ones. Do what matters and remember, action leads to motivation. It's not the other way around. Hit that subscribe button for more videos like this. And remember, be better today than you were yesterday.
They deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it.